Live from the Big Beefy Man Cave in New Bedford, Massachusetts. This is the YouTube channel vlog show in which video games, flash game show gameplays, along with sports and wrestling news are the norm. This is the YouTube channel vlog show of positivity, good times, and fun. This is Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. And now, here is the host of the show, the perpetrator of these shenanigans, Big Beefy E himself, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer. Well, hello, everyone, once again, for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, December the 13th, 2022, 10:08 p.m. This will be the last video for the day, and for the night until tomorrow. That's right, we're going to go. We have a lot to talk about here. This is the fallout from NXT Deadline, as you know. It started off, Roxanne Perez, who won the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge, the Iron Survivor. Roxanne Perez kicks off NXT, but Grayson Waller's horn beeping from his Hummer interrupted Perez, and Grayson Waller does what Grayson Waller wants to do best, that's run his freaking mouth. And Roxanne Perez basically tells him to shut up and said, hey, I want it too. And then Grayson Waller keeps running his mouth. Then Braun Breaker comes out and then interrupts Waller. And then Braun Breaker starts giving props to Roxanne Perez, and he goes, hey, how about you and I make a moment right now? And he starts chasing Waller up through the crowd. And then while that was going on, the NXT Women's Champ Mandy Rose blindsides Roxanne Perez. Meanwhile, in the trainer's room, J.D. McDonough talked to the Creed brothers about their injuries and all that. So Bruce Creed goes, you know what? Tonight I'm taking care of you in the ring. And so J.D. McDonough's like, boy, you got guys glutton for punishment and stuff. So you got that. And but back in the ring though, Roxanne Perez calls out Mandy Rose, and then decided, I'm not waiting till New Year's Eve to challenge you for the championship. I want my shot tonight. Mandy Rose goes, you want it? You got it. So there's that. And then there was a brawl going on in the back between Channing Stacks Lorenzo and Wesley, with Tony D'Angelo barking orders. They got to the ring, they had their matchup, and Wesley didn't win the match. Dijak was heading to the ring to confront Lee, only for Tony D'Angelo to blindside Lee from behind. And then Lee starts running his mouth to Dijak. He goes, what? And him and Stacks both walked out of the match. Walked out after the match. So I'm like, Tony D'Angelo. Then Duke Hudson was seen shaking hands with Drew Gulak, and then Andre Chase was like, hey, what's up with that? And he goes, it's about, I lost my cool, I'm sorry, but, are you going for a physical? No, I'm not going to no transfer, listen. And Duke Hudson says, hey, I'm going to give Damien Kemp an Andre Chase U-size butt whooping tonight. All right. So that's what he said. That's what Duke Hudson said. So they had a women's tag team matchup. As the tag team champs Katana, Chance, and Kane and Connor joined Vic Joseph and Booker T on commentary. Diamond Mines, Ivy Nile, and Tatum Paxley go up against Toxic Attraction. That's the lovely Gigi Dolan and Miss J.C. Jane. And Toxic Attraction didn't win by disqualification, because what happened was Ivy Nile threw one of the Toxic Attraction members, and Ivy Nile was one of the Toxic Attraction members threw Ivy Nile into the champs, and then the champs got into a Toxic Attraction, but then Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley get involved in the matchup, and all three women's teams were brawling. Then, Fallon Henley had a phone call from her dad. She talks about the bar situation, the financial situation. But then Josh Briggs and Brooke Simpson said, hey, we're going to cheer you up. Don't worry about a thing. We got it. Then Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams talking about how Axiom climbed out of the penalty box beforehand and everything else. And they said, well, guess what? Axiom, that's it, we're going to get Axiom. And Odyssey Jones went one-on-one with Von Wagner, battle of the big men here. Odyssey Jones won the matchup after Robert Stone tried to grab Elite Blade's father's sweater. You know, he was getting chased around the ring by Idris and Nofe. And then Malik Blade kicked Wagner in the face for revenge, giving Odyssey Jones the victory over Von Wagner. I'm sure there'll be a lot of crying from Mr. Stone about it, to say the least. And then Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Big Body Javier Bernal. Here we go again. Poor Mackenzie Mitchell. You know what? I'm going to call my fan base the Big Body Believers. That's what he said. More like a big body chicken. That's what I say. He's a big body bufa. That's what he is. You know, bufa is fart in Portuguese. You know, João Gagao. That's what big body hobby is. A João Gagao. You know, and so they had the match. Ike Minjiro one-on-one with Javier Bernal. Was a heck of a matchup, but Ike Minjiro did win. But that mysterious dude, Scripps, attacks Jiro from behind and stole his jacket. It seems like Scripps has got a newer attitude. Maybe, you know, that's probably what Reggie needs. A new gimmick change, an attitude change. So Wendy True cut a promo on Cora Jade, and she explains why she was crying after the matchup when she lost to Cora Jade. She says, you know, drink was spilled in her face, she talked about a slumber party, and she got humiliated by someone there. So Wendy True seems like... going to teach Cora Jade a lesson. Then the New Day decided to do a championship celebration, as they talk about props to Kofi, who being a 15-time tag team champion, while Xavier Woods is a full circle and never held an NXT title. Now he does. And as they were about to celebrate, Pretty Deadly comes out whining and crying as usual, and they say, "Hey, we want a rematch." He said, "Well, you want a rematch? All you got to do is recite the Pledge of Allegiance," because they were dissing how England's kicked out of the World Cup and everything else. And so Briggs and Jensen interrupt both teams, and they got the American flag with them. "Hey, if you want to give it, hey, we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance, if we get our tag team title shot." So they Briggs Jensen, and the New Day were holding up. Well, no, Pretty Deadly going. Making faces and retching and all that. And then also Xavier Woods says, "We'll talk to the good people at NXT, the offices, and we'll get you guys tag team title shot next week." So, which was really funny. The women's division, we're talking about the Iron Survivor Challenge, and then Elektra Lopez decided to diss Indy Hartwell. Because I think Jakara Jackson says Indy Hartwell should have won. And then Lashley said that she thought Zoe Stark would win. But then Indy Hartwell must have heard what Elektra Lopez had said, and she started attacking Elektra Lopez. Good. It's about time. Those two ladies didn't go at it for a long time. Bruce Creed went one-on-one with J.D. McDonough, winning the matchup. And then Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Zoe Stark about Nikita Lyons. What she had to say, you know what? Zoe Stark goes, "You know what? I changed my mind. Let's get in the ring." Waste of roster space. Really? I like Nikita Lyons. And then Island Dawn cut a promo on Alba Fire, and then she said she's preparing for next week's winter solstice. So I said, oh boy. In fact, freaking Island Dawn's more whacked out than ever before. So, calls herself the Unholy Enchantress and all. I don't know what Isla Dawn's got planned, but I'll tell you one thing. She's nothing but trouble, gentlemen. Do not date her. Okay? Lyra Valkyria, the former Aphid Valkyrie, makes her debut on stateside here in NXT against Mari Miller, with Valkyria did pick up the victory via the splash. Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Axiom about what Carmelo Hayes to say, and next week they'll be facing each other. Axiom seems pretty confident he'll beat Carmelo Hayes. And then Kiana James was talking to Brooks Jensen about, and so everything else. You want to look like a champion, focus on becoming tag team champions. You want to look like a champion, you're going to dress like a champion. And gave her, and then Kiana James gives Jensen a gift, a new shirt that fits him. This is going to be totally awesome. And then at the hallway where they at, Chance and Connor arguing with Niall and Paxley about what happened, and Toxic Attraction continues to brawl with them in the back, both teams in the back, and officials had to separate these three teams. leading up to a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles next week. And also, Carmella Hayes going one-on-one with Axiom. Duke Hudson went one-on-one with Damon Kemp, with Duke Hudson did pick up the victory over Damon Kemp. Continuing on. But then, the main event, the NXT Women's Championship matchup. It is, let's see, the 16. Alright, I'm not really sure I write this up. It is Mandy Rose defending her NXT Women's Championship against Roxanne Perez, who didn't want to wait till New Year's Eve. The two it was a great matchup. Mandy Rose was targeting the injured shoulder that Roxanne Perez had suffered in the Iron Survivor Challenge this past Saturday night on NXT Deadline. But then she fought through, and even after Kiss from Rose, Roxanne Perez counted back. She tried to submission hold. Roxanne Perez got out of the back. A couple more moves and counters, and then Roxanne Perez hit the pop rocks. And ladies and gentlemen, after a 3 count, the winner of the match and new NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, at 21 years old, is the youngest women's champion in the company's history of the WWE. Would you believe that? Would you believe that? Well, I can't. I can't believe that either. But Roxanne Perez, congratulations to young Roxanne Perez, your new NXT Women's Champion. I'll tell you one thing. She is the Ultimate Iron Survivor. She survived 25 minutes, and then she survived another brutal match against Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose, going to give her a credit, 413-day reign as NXT Women's Champion has come to an end. Apparently not going to reach Asuka's record, but that I think Mandy Rose may be going back, will be ready to go back to the main roster. But will Toxic Attraction, all 3 members, be there? This could be an improved with Toxic Attraction when they go back. And if Mandy Rose goes back to the main roster, stay away from Otis, because unfortunately Otis is not what he used to be anymore. With that being said, that's all the time we have on this show. Hope you guys have a one. And it's episode 231 of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Thank you all for tuning in. And until tomorrow, until the next episode of the show, Mr. Announcer, please take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is Mr. Lima speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, tour for Bob Saget production, and in association with A Sweet Buffer Raving Dingleberry Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode of the show. See you on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now, and have a very blessed day.